Watch me now. Watch me now. Watch me now.
Everybody talk. He's just watching.
I just get it done. Everybody talk. I just get it done.
Hello and welcome back to another night of the XP Esports Women's League. My name is Blue Panda, jumping in to cover for Proto tonight. Joining me is Spud on the mic, and we're looking to get into the action tonight, Spud. There's a lot coming into the close of the season. We're deep into the tournament.
Yeah, this is round 6, week 6, and there's only one more week after this. So if teams haven't got their stuff together by now, it's a little too late to be starting now. Having said that, these teams have been giving it their all throughout the entire season. Now, finally, some of these teams are looking to jostle for those last few playoff spots. As we know, Warriors are still on top there. No one is doubting them at all, but third and fourth place still looking like it could shift a bit, and that certainly stands for our two teams playing tonight. First up, we have Triari Esports versus Benchwarmers. Benchwarmers currently in 5th place right now, just 3 points behind Radical Rebels. So if Benchwarmers win tonight, they could potentially get into that 4th spot, which is what they need for the playoffs.
Well, before we dive too deep into the teams themselves, let's take a look back at how the whole tournament works. Of course, the tournament format, nice and easy. 8 teams playing it out in 7 weeks of best-of-1 round robins, culminating in the top 4 making it to playoffs. And those will become best of 3s with top 2 teams, the winners of those semi-finals, making it to the grand finals, the losers battling it out to see who finishes in 3rd and 4th. And look, we've got some great teams in the competition this stage, Spud.
Yeah, a lot of well-known names and some newer team names, but with familiar faces as well. Big Brain Esports, Vertex, Felpex, and Radical Rebels, and of course Warriors, Triari Esports, Benchwarmers, and Altered Edge are our participants this season. And of course, we've already mentioned some of these teams. Warriors, of course, well, everyone knows them. They've been around for a while, but you know, a lot of familiar faces as well on a lot of these other teams. So definitely a lot of experience coming into this tournament.
And that experience is going to be key, especially given what they're playing for. Of course, the prize pool right here in this competition, of course, it is a cool 3,000 Australian dollars. 1,500 will be gifted to first place for winning the tournament. Of course, second gets themselves 1,000, third 500, and fourth will still get themselves some R6 credits as well to walk away with. So you make it into playoffs, you still walking away with something.
Yeah, of course, and you, the viewers, can also walk away with something as well. You guys can submit your weekly best plays to us and go in the running to win a chibi. That's right, you get actually something for watching as well. So make sure to clip your favorite moment. Doesn't have to be an awesome moment. It can just be a really, really funny moment. And I know we've seen a lot of both of them. So make sure to get that clip and send it in on our Twitter. And yeah, you could win something.
And having a look at our matches for tonight, there are people that are going to be vying for those chibis as well, plus the competition of the games themselves. Up first, like you said, Spud, Triari taking on Benchwarmers. And then closing out the evening, we're going to see Radical Rebels taking on Vertex, who, I mean, look, that match is going to be a big one.
Yeah, again, I mentioned earlier, Radical Rebels currently in 4th place, and Vertex is in 2nd. So Vertex are pretty secure here, but Radical Rebels are only actually 3 points behind, and of course, if they fail to win that matchup and Benchwarmers wins theirs, and Radical Rebels will lose their playoff spot. So, got to make sure they give it their best. This is, as we mentioned, the end of the tournament coming really close to the end, so every single round matters now. It will come down to, for some of these teams, to the round difference.
Well, let's jump on into match one, of course. Triari taking on Benchwarmers here on the main broadcast. Two teams that look, the most notable, of course, being the Benchwarmers coming off of that massive win last week. Unfortunately, due to technical issues with Ubisoft not performing the way it needed to, Benchwarmers were given the option to play the 4 versus 5 against Altered Edge. They did opt into it. They took that opportunity and, well, they took it running. They picked up a pretty impressive win over Altered Edge last week.
Yeah, it was a 4v5 win, so props to them. And of course, they had a bit of a rough season start, lots of early losses, actually, 3 in fact. But then, of course, taking that 7-3 win over Volpez, and then finally against Altered Edge last week. And as we mentioned, that 4v5 definitely will have boosted that the mental game and the motivation here. And so coming into this, I certainly expect them to be in high spirits, certainly ready for the fight as well. On Triari's side, haven't had as much success. They did get an early win in the very first round. Of course, they did take down Volpez Gaming 7-0, so pretty good results there. Haven't had as much success following that, though they did go 7-4 against Radical Rebels on the 4 side, of course, but still not a bad performance, and I certainly expect them to be able to put up a good fight against Benchwarmers, and if they've been improving and learning from some of these lessons, certainly could still take it away from Benchwarmers.
Let's dive on into our teams, though, and see what they are bringing to the table. Of course, up first, Triari Esports coming to the competition. We have been told that they are playing with the sub tonight. Unfortunately, one of their members has copped the COVID and will be stepping back and allowing for the rest of the team to step up. So we got McGuppins, Amber, Ice, Queen Alex, and Spoops looking to come in and do some damage tonight.
This team definitely have been playing well together. Lots of competitive experience as well. I believe some of these members have played before or in other leagues as well. So hopefully that will help mesh together and form a solid team. Of course, it's going to be difficult going up against Benchwarmers who have a bit of a better record and, of course, having that mental boost from last week as well. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the members they're bringing onto the field. We have Meg, Luxie, Defsnot L, Arctic X, and Ravenna. And of course, lots of famous faces here. Lots of these players have played before. Meg, of course, the IGL, and Ravenna. We don't need to say too much about Ravenna, except for the fact that she's pretty cracked and, kills a lot of people in game. So, yeah.
You've left out the star player of the team. Defsnot L last week stepped up, cracking double digits for the team, being down a player on top of all of it. I mean, she's a staple of this competition at the moment. The XP Esports Women's League has been her stomping grounds for the last couple of years, and she really has stomped away in this competition. Big numbers from her. But, Spud, the question has to be, where are we playing this map out, of course? Last week for Benchwarmers, it was Oregon. This week, do they get something different is the question. Benchwarmers probably wanting to play something a little bit more structured. That is the play style that they seem to succeed that much more on. And, well, we get on into the map bands. No skyscraper, border, or theme park. Unfortunately, the newer maps already being taken out. We're left with, well, it's Clubhouse.
Yeah, well, you talked about a more structured map, and Clubhouse is the structured map. It's the one that everyone has to know how to play. It's very rigid in terms of how all the mini games that you need to be completing before you can actually go and execute. But it also allows a lot of flexibility for creative teams who can use newer strategies, especially since they're so well versed on this map. But yeah, usually considered defender-sided, though of course there are still lots of great attacking strategies, and especially with some of the new utility being brought in by attackers, that tide has certainly shifted quite significantly. But yeah, Clubhouse, again, everyone knows it, everyone has to know how to play it, and yeah, Benchwarmers will be starting off on the defense there, so a little bit of an advantage there, perhaps.
I mean, yeah, it's a staple of the ANZ scene. It's a staple of, competitive Siege. It's a map that every team should have in their repertoire. If they're not coming prepped with a good Clubhouse game, it's a little bit concerning. But, I mean, we almost saw a couple of very interesting maps in the pool. Chalet, Villa, possibilities there towards the tail end. I would have been a big fan of some Villa. Not Villa. Chalet, rather.
Yeah.
I suppose both sides of the same coin, luxury getaways, one in Tuscany, one in the French Alps. It's same, but different at the end of the day. But yeah, would have enjoyed a bit of Chalet.
Yeah, we have seen quite a lot of Chalet recently. I know Warriors are quite fond of it, and they play it very, very well. Villa would have been nice. I feel like I haven't seen a Villa in a while. So,
no, thank you. No more Villa. I'm done with Villa.
At least it's not Oregon. There's a reason, talent like to call it Boregon, because it is quite common. But yeah, Clubhouse, I feel like it's a Dust 2 of Siege, right? That's kind of what it feels like, at least.
Yeah, look, I mean, Clubhouse, it's going to be a good proving ground, especially this deep into the competition. If you're dropping rounds here, if you're dropping maps on Clubhouse, week 6 of the competition, it's not going to bode well for your final week and then on to playoffs if you do manage to crack on in there. But I mean, given the up bans that we've seen as of late, I mean, are we expecting anything crazy, Spud?
Yeah, look, I don't think we're going to see really crazy stuff, given that the stock standard usually actually works out quite well. I mean, I'm thinking of Thatcher and the Jackal. We see it all the time in rank, but there's a reason why they're banned so often, and especially on Clubhouse. I mean, Clubhouse, so many walls need to be opened. There's potential for bandit tricking. Hatches need to be kept shut. Getting rid of the Thatcher certainly helps out a lot. And of course, Jackal makes it a lot harder for defenders to roam, play that SSG style roam, which is obviously very famous on this particular map. And then on the defense, of course, hey, we're talking Mira, Kaid, Valkyrie, combination of those. It's just a matter of which one survives the ban phase at this point.
I mean, at the moment, it looks like the fans in the chat are favouring Benchwarmers just a little bit more, looking at the predictions and the bets going at the moment. So they're a little bit lopsided in terms of what they are predicting. And, well, let's get on into it, Spud. It's Clubhouse as we fly on through the map. Get a bit of a taster of where we're going to be playing this match out, of course. Are you anticipating anything crazy? Are we getting the weird, wonderful? We're getting run out, spawn peaks? What do you reckon?
I reckon both these teams are going to play pretty safe. I mean, there's a lot on the line here, and so they don't want to be taking unnecessary risks. So, spawn peak, I think we'll see a couple. Cheeky, super aggressive runouts, I don't think will happen. But hey, I'm glad to be proven wrong. Could always use something interesting. I mean, it is Clubhouse. We've seen it so many times. So maybe something will catch them off. But yeah, you mentioned the chat has their favorites, has their bets on Benchwarmers. Do you agree with that? What are your thoughts on scoreline, perhaps?
I can understand why the votes are leaning that way, especially given after the fact that they picked up that 4v5 victory and in very, very convincing fashion. I mean, you talk about the star players. Ravenna L were just going absolutely massive for the team. And I mean, it's not every day that you'd see a 4v5 go the way of the 4. Even on a map like Oregon, which is the staple in the scene at the moment, it's very, like you said, Oregon. We've seen it so many times. We know exactly what it's all about. But to even just lock down the basics on a map in a deficit like that is impressive.
Yeah, and hopefully that kind of play will benefit them on Clubhouse, which, as we've mentioned, very structured. You need to have very well-coordinated setups, and if you fail to do that, then things can really fall apart very quickly. So, yeah, Clubhouse is where we're going to be heading, and we will be hopefully a slot in those.
Interesting. We look. I think I need to say it, Spud. I need to say it. Facts are good and all, but I miss Cortari and her dad jokes. They really, really set the stage for a play day. Unfortunately, she's behind the scenes now, working tournament adminning. But I'm sure if we ask nicely, we'll get some dad jokes popping in the Twitch chat soon, at least. But right now, up ban phase, we see the Thatcher coming through. Triara have the option to respond. But, I mean, yeah, Maverick, look, we're going cookie cutter right now. This is, look, I say cookie cutter. This is probably a throwback to a couple of seasons ago right now. But, I mean, it's understandable.
I mean, Mav ban is not surprising, but in combination with the Thatcher ban, that removes so much hard breach potential, because once you've taken off the Thatcher, your only other option, well, one of your major options is using that Maverick trick. Failing that, you're going to have to go underneath nades, buck, stuff like that in order to get rid of wall denial. So, following that up with a Kaid ban does make sense. Otherwise, you really will have a difficult time. In fact, it'll be impossible to open those hatches. So, interesting. I have been slightly proven wrong, but that does leave, of course, the Jackal and the Valkyrie that we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, information is such an important part of this game. Valkyrie being up could be absolutely deadly, especially when we head down to the basement site. You talk about contesting into kitchen, getting that vertical control. That's a dangerous prospect when Valkyrie's on the board. Meg going to be the one to pick it up, and L bringing the vigil. So they are looking to play that basement site and play a bit of the misinformation plus information game.
Yeah, both sides of the same coin, of course. Once you give that disinformation, of course, and capitalize on your own, you really press the advantage. Because at the end of the day, Siege, of course, is a game about information. Whoever has more information is usually the team that wins. So, basement church arsenal. Speaking of information, I'm wondering if Triari are aware of this, whether they'll have notices from scrims that benchwarmers tend to prefer this bottom basement site, or whether they're going to have to drone it out, because, yeah, I'm not sure the Kali is the best fit for this particular site.
Yeah, look, I mean, the attack repick option is there, so it's not like it's a hard set in stone thing. We've got about 10 more seconds before it does become that bar for Amber. But I think it's a case of less to worry about. Although, in saying that, yeah, you look at what's set up, you look at what's there, they are going to switch it out for an IQ, given that there is no breach denial whatsoever. The IQ probably going to be a little bit more impactful, given that there is that Valkyrie on the board.
Yeah, lots of switches come in actually. I do like the addition of the sledge for that vertical play. You do get lots of control in that kitchen corridor area, and McGuffins switching from that Finker onto the Sophia. Personally, I would have stuck with the Sophia, given just how powerful Sophia is. Like, she's just broken, right? But anyway, hopefully these teams can make it work. And yeah, the first step, of course, is going to be finding these roamers. L on the roam with the Vigil, supported by Meg as well. Again, information and lots of disinformation as well. Certainly a very potent combo.
Meg and Logi open up the floor there, and it's something that I've seen teams do, and I say that it's been a while since I've seen teams do that, but there was a brief time where you would sometimes see the Maestro picked on the defense in the basement, the Evil Eye cams placed above the hatch, and it was a way to trick and clear out Hibana's aces, what have you, but Amber is going to be the first to find a kill, L to fall, unfortunately.
Yeah, it will be up to Meg to get this retrade here, but I'm not yeah, I certainly think that Triari aren't aware of this additional player upstairs, and that's a bit of a misplay here. It's really crucial that they get rid of this roamer, because this roamer can wreak so much havoc, and that's exactly why she's there. In fact, they've pretty much moved on entirely, and it's only a matter of time before this pick comes in.
Meg picks us off, spots the head, will go for the shots and gives away the game, unfortunately. So they may have just found the information they needed to on her position upstairs. But Triari don't seem to have shifted their focus. They're geared up for this push down to this basement. So whether or not they actually got the info on that position upstairs is unsure.
Yeah, however, Amber will find another pick, Raferna, to go down, and so far Meg hasn't really been able to find the pick she needs. Maybe onto a hard breacher, but so far it seems that Triari are just happy to ignore the fact that Meg is up there. Whether this comes back to bite them, though, we still have to see that, because it could be a late flank that really does damage.
Especially given there's only 3 drones in play from above. The middle bars just unfortunately making it hard. It's not even Meg to get the kill. Luxy finds Ice. That is your IQ off the board. I don't even think they realized that Meg is still upstairs.
Surely by now the comms would have come through. They would have realized where they're getting shot from. But no, McGuffins is still in the kitchen. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's not even suppressed here, but yeah, Luxy will actually find 2 picks as well, and that evens out the man count. And with Meg still upstairs, well, moving down now, this could be the undoing of Triari.
Looking for an angle, looking for an option, but it's a Luxy for a third. This could be the full ace for her. Unfortunately, McGuffin's on the job, is going to drop the kill there. And Meg's flank upstairs, unfortunately, not going to need anything. Luckily, though, Benchwarmers, they've got the players on site to make it happen.
Yeah, the smoke definitely very influential there. Being able to force that rush at the end, having to get through that smoke, certainly meant that Arctic X was well placed to pick up those last 2 kills. Of course, a bit unfortunate there for Meg, wasn't able to get those kills, but I think certainly the game sense was there, and it was the right play. Could have done so much more damage there, and really it speaks as well about Triari's failure there to capitalize on the information that would have been given from the kill. So a bit of a misstep there from both sides, but ultimately Benchwarmers come out on top of this.
Look, question was there asked. Any drum and bass enthusiasts? Any EDM lovers? Don't mind it myself. Big fan of the heavy bass. Love it. It's what I listen to every time I'm driving by myself, because I'm not allowed to listen to that when I'm with my partner. But
Right.
yeah, she likes the Yeah, I listen to like heavy bass, like heavy
Uh-huh.
drum and bass, and she's listening to Johnny Cash. There's a bit of subtle
Right.
difference in the taste.
Right, so I just imagine Blue Panda driving along in his car, and the car's just kind of bumping up and down from the bass, and the windows are shaking, and everyone's just kind of driving past and looking at him,
Oh.
and Blue Panda's just
You
headbanging
want to know
along.
the best bit? We drive our car. We had one car. We had two. We got rid of my one, unfortunately. I drive currently a Nissan Tita, which is it's not a very impressive vehicle if you aren't
Right.
familiar with the build. But yeah, I drive a Nissan Tita, and I'm sitting there pumping the heavy bass down the road, and yeah, I get some looks.
Look, it's all about the mentality. It's
And,
not about the car.
Hold,
it's about
hold
the
on.
mentality.
To address Nuttery's question, no, I'm not doxing myself. It is the most popular car in New Zealand.
Oh, but now we know you are in New Zealand.
Everyone knows I'm in New Zealand. That's part of my charm, Spud.
Well, this wall opened up very, very quickly. Bandit wasn't able to have any effect there. Thanks to Carly, it was a great pick there. And usually you don't really see that, but of course Amber has been able to make good use of it. So less than a minute used, and that's already main walls open up. That's certainly really good use of the time.
Aside from Nuttery's shared similarities with Jackal, we'll move on with the rest of the broadcast. Right now, yeah, it's good work being done. Nuttery, to address what I just said, it's too busy sniffing my feet to find my location. Right now, they've got the breach open and they've got the utility to cover for a plant. Unfortunately, no OSA means they're just going to have to try and angle for the smoke play. Tucked into the corner, Arctic, trying to hold things down where possible. There is a lot that could go wrong, though. There are a number of angles not quite contested. Ravenna tucked into the corner, still alive and able to impact the remainder of this round. McGuffins not finding the angle needed. They don't have the security to go for the plant here, Spud.
Yeah, that garage rafters play is kind of the key point here. Going to be holding her down, but of course, Amber does finally find that shot, and now they can start with this entry. Queen Alex finds another onto Luxie, and with that, can start going for the plant, but Arctic might actually... you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just not going to say anything.
Amber, that's unfortunate. So is Alex going down. Spooks was too busy dealing with the goo mine. Look, we won't even touch on the fact that Elle and Amber there made a bit of a whiff on the play. But right now, 3 versus 2. Arctic makes it a 3 versus 1. McGuffin's alone. Arctic's prone. 4-0. The nade. Ooh, just might take her out, but it's the spray from the LMG. Arctic, what a play. The nade. Oh, my lord. How has Arctic just danced around 2 nades and come out alive?
Well, didn't have the ADS there, but who needs ADS when you just have really, really quick feet? Just don't get hit, right? It's as simple as that. Don't get hit. And
Nuttery, if you want, you can put L casters rate at 10 out of 10. just in chat, casters rate at 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. That was some superb dodging. Like, just dancing through the shrapnel, 10 out of 10. But hey, I mean, it works, right? They managed to take out a lot of players on the attack there, even in a bit of a poor position, and of course, even still with garage control. So that's no small feat. Garage control is really important, and once attackers have taken it, it's usually very difficult to get it back because, of course, they can watch on the rafters. They've got midi bar door, they've got the window, but yeah, still managed to clean that up. Just a little bit unfortunate, some of these players
Nuttery, one last thing before we carry on with the round. Tell them we saw it from both angles, please. We saw both sides of that fight, and it is what it is. Spud, look, 2 rounds to bench warmers on the defense. They hold on despite conceding the plant in the second. And now they head to gym bedroom, which, I mean, for the most part, is the weakest of the 3 sides.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, well, in terms of site, so it's certainly better than bar stage. So you've won the last 2, you're forced to go here, and there's still a lot you can do. We've seen teams actually have great success. Some teams actually using it as a primary. So I wouldn't even say it's that bad of a site. And the only thing I would criticize is no Frost, but I always criticize people not playing Frost anyway. So, you know, I think it's fair to say that it's not bad.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, I mean, I suppose the biggest difference being CCTV, you got more angles you can cover when that big breach is open. Jacuzzi wall being opened is a little bit harder to contest, given that majority of teams will play tucked into the bathroom. Like we just saw L narrowly escaping the ankle damage there. The exothermic will be good. They will get the wall open now. There was no breach denial whatsoever, which is interesting given that they did pick the castle.
Yeah, usually the reason for bringing that castle, of course, is to protect the breach denial and especially protect the bandits if they are going for the bandit trick. But yeah, without that, well, the walls are going to be open and yeah, Ice is just going to be able to walk right into sight. No footsie holes either, just a rotate, and she's already covering that, which means this is a free plant. If Triari realize that, they could simply just walk into gym and go for the plant. They've got Queen on that path, on the master bedroom window as well. Yeah, this is pretty realistic.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one Nitrocell in play wasn't going to be in the right position to contest. Meg and Con trying to go for the long-range spray. Elle does not know that the diffuser is on the other side of the wall from her. Ice finally felled. No more boxed mag LMG to try and hold on for the remainder of the round. Arctic, does she know? It's just the information. They just need to know. Elle has walked into the site, spotted the player. MacGuffins is going to find a kill with the plant. It's being diffused. Elle is not going to be stopped here. And Triari don't cover their bases. Benchwarmers walk away with a third.
Well, I was going to say, how did Triari just walk in and plant? But then, how did Benchwarmers just walk in and retake the site? Apparently, no one is really too keen in staying in that area because, yeah, both teams able just to walk in and just take it for free. And ultimately, Benchwarmers came out on top of that. They managed to walk in the site, take out the thermite, and also lock the Finker outside. Good use of the smoke there as well. And then, yeah, it was just free diffuse. I'm just honestly very, very puzzled. Yes.
Oh dear, it's unfortunate, and also playing on new patches is probably not going to help things at the grand scale of things. Obviously, changes to the likes of Nomad, Ying. That's who I was going to go with. But there have been a couple of subtle changes across the board, and we've seen it a couple of times where changes like that, even the smaller ones, can upset the momentum of a round.
Yeah, speaking of changes that we would like to see, I would really like to see a Finker nerf, please, Ubisoft. Okay, that's my soapbox. I'm done. But yeah, back to basement now.
Just kill the Finker first, Spud. 5 head.
Yeah, it's so easy, right? This is a simple game, right? Just shoot people in the head, right? Who needs setup? Who needs strategy? Just win, right?
Win. Yeah, just win. It's not that hard. Like, come on. I could be an Apex South player. I don't know why they make it look so difficult. Like, it's not that hard. Just win.
Yeah. And so far, Benchwarmers have been doing just that. 3-0 up, a flawless rotation through the sites. Now they need to repeat it if to really maintain this record. And certainly, defense, though, for Benchwarmers has proven to be a very, very strong point.
I mean, the interesting thing, Spud, so, each round there can be a maximum of 5 deaths per team.
Right.
Benchwarmers have 12 kills collectively in the 3 rounds played. So there have been 3 players remaining alive for Triari. Meg, unfortunately, just whomped out of Harry Potter. Well and truly scouted. It's not a position that traditionally yields too many results. It's one of those easily scanned positions, and unfortunately they do lose out on their alibi quite early on.
Ravenna, however, does find that repick onto Ice. So Habana, a crucial pick here. They still have the ace to work with, but again, a lot more difficult to open the same number of hatches. So Triari will have to be a lot more careful about which ones they choose to open up and where they're going for the attack. And on the contrary, Benchwarmers now don't have to worry about as many angles. They can just focus on that one hatch that will be open. But yeah, so far, even ground for both teams, and with about half the time remaining, this tends to favor the defense. So L finds another, and now well and truly in the favor of defense.
Primary hard breach, and your soft breach gone. Ravenna there to follow up. Amber falls, and it's down to Spoops and McGuffins. Unfortunately, Ravenna is going to slam Spoops for a third. That is massive damage already being done, and now McGuffins a little bit lost in the sauce, trying to find out where the rest of her teammates went. And Ravenna is watching the stairs, might be good for a fourth here in the round. This time, it's not going to be with any players remaining from the side of Triari. The crouch walk and Rav, she's good for 4.
Well, Rav single-handedly tore Triari Esports apart, and from pretty much the same spot, you can see, look, just all the bodies lying there, all the icons. Yeah, again, a bit of failure with information, especially giving those calls on the end. When you die, first thing you do is always call where you died from, and it's a bit unfortunate there seems to be a missing piece. And we've seen Triari be able to do comms well. I mean, just at the very start of that round, right? They had the drones go in, Amber went in with the sledgehammer, found Meg, who had no idea she was even being droned out. Perfect entry pick with perfect drone work. I'm just not sure what happened to it after that.
Well, 4 rounds of the fly for the defensive benchwarmers here on the Clubhouse, and well, they're making this map look like it is theirs. We head to CCTV this time. There is the Carly in play once again, but I mean, Spud, they were able to retake the site quite convincingly off the back of Arctic X, making some big moves.
Yeah, hopefully this time they don't let it come down to the same situation where it's a last-minute retake, because as always, that usually seems to favor the attackers, especially now that they've got good positions and time on their side.
Well, round 5 upon us, and so far the benchwarmers have been just storming away with it. Unfortunately, Meg just trailing a little bit behind the rest of the team at the moment. She's got her 1. That's all you need in this situation. Elle, though, has been a bit of a thorn, a bit of a demon, a bit of a problem for Triara, and she's looking to do much the same once again. Primed and ready with a punch hole on stage. If she could find a kill into stock, that would be hugely condemning, and well, she's waiting, she's patient, she's biding her time.
Yeah, again, this drone work has to be excellent in order to find her. But so far, it seems not too interested in attacking that part of the map. They will be going for this wall once again with Amber on the Carly. Again, very effective getting rid of any wall denial and opening it up straight away. Lots of time still to work with.
And that CSRX from long range out on the warehouse walkway could be big, but I think they do get an idea. Ice walking into the spray from Ravenna again, and that is big damage. The Nano Boost having to come in just to try and keep them healthy. Rev finished off by McGuppins on that rappel. Now Amber starting to open up some of those soft walls in between the sites. Elle below, though. Elle below could well and truly do some damage here.
Yeah, if they have C-Force to work with, and Arctic and Meg both do have them. And of course, Elle with the impact tricks. This could certainly stop a plant coming in, but speaking of plants, they're going to go for it. The smoke is denying that entry, but taken down. Ice will drop the diffuser. Queen Alex still alive, but Spoops from below will get taken down by Elle, as we mentioned. Will be able to pick back up, but C4 misses, and that means Ice is now on the diffuse. All 3 players locked out of that site.
Meg does find the kill onto Alex, brings it down to 3 versus 3. Make that a 3 versus 2, as Meg will unfortunately forfeit her life, walking too deep. McGuppin's on for an ace, and it is going to be just that. Triari on the board, and that is a big play for them to get around.
Yeah, much needed round there. Definitely, well, better late than never is one way to put it, but hey, after losing 4 rounds, finally getting that pick, that round, and breaking up the momentum, you're certainly going to need it. 4-2-half is what they're going to be hoping for now. And honestly, when you're attacking in Clubhouse, that's not that bad, actually. That's pretty good.
Not bad at all. Unfortunately, Spud. It is not 4-2 just yet. Benchwarmers could still take this one 5-1. They're going to double down with the reattempt on the CCTV. Yeah, Elle, unfortunately, it's in the name when it comes to her internet. Struggles, but it is the life she has chosen.
Bombs from being defused by attackers.
Well, see, what you need to do then is you just play a lot of custom games. I think you play a lot of ranked, right? And eventually Ubisoft will just figure out, the game will figure out, oh, well, they always play this up, right? And then it'll auto-pick for you. That's definitely the play.
Well, unfortunately for myself, I went through a brief period in ranked where I just didn't trust my teammates, so I played a lot of Clash and Monty. So that's a fun time for me. And I do play Clash with the Super Shorty because I'm just that kind of self-loathing Rainbow Six player. So it's honestly, you'd be surprised how many times I killed Sharte in a charity tournament with the Super Shorty as Clash. So it's worked.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse.
Nuttery's just upset because he wasn't invited to play too.
Yeah, well, maybe Nuttery, you can complain about it when you get a Super Shorty Clash kill on Sharte. All right,
Exactly.
Then we'll talk.
Exactly. Well, for all Nuttery's talk, it's not adding too much to the broadcast, unfortunately. But you know it is, though. The wall being open, they decide not to commit to it just yet, as the EMP is there. Bit of a missed time on it, that EMP charge, not actually catching an exthermic. Spooks were still getting over to the side of the building. Bit of a missed time there, unfortunately.
Well, they have just debated them as well. Benchwarmers thought the charge was going on, but hey, it's not actually there. No one would have thought of that. But, well, what's done is done. The wall is open. A little bit slower than last time, but still, plenty of time. 2 minutes to work with. My question now is whether they'll be able to take garage control again. Last time they got the plant down on this site was, of course, once they took that garage control. Ravenna will be, again, challenging it, but this time it doesn't seem like Triari are too interested in going for that control.
This time around, though, we see Benchwarmers have position below the Nitro cells for the defense. Meg was down in the lounge, waiting for the confirmation cue that she needs to go for the pop and try and deny that push in through the breach. It's going to be a case of timing, though. She has diverted her focus. Ravenna now tucked into Harry Potter. Spotted. Known right now. Very much in danger. Support, is it going to be good enough? The nade is popped, but Rev hits the head and dodges out of danger. That is absolutely clutch right now. And you see Alex and Ice are deep in the site. Amber for 2. With the SPSMG9 going to be tagged up just a little bit. Meg, can she deny with the Nitro? But it's a third. It's a third kill for Amber with the SPSMG9. The secondary will go down to Rev, who's now rejoined and is looking to get back on the site with the rest of the team. Player outside on the ground level, and it will be Rev down. It's up to Meg to try and clutch. Hit with the lifeline. Concussions. Ravenna finished off, and it's now a 1 versus 3 with 24 seconds remaining. 1 inside, 1 outside, 1 on the breach right now. Just pixel needed. Meg misses the opportunity, misses the spray. More damage onto Ice, but it's not enough. Queen Alex is there and will clutch the round. And there you have it, Spud. 4-2 secured.
Well, it certainly looks like Triari finally got the read on Benchwarmers. They figured out what they were doing, and they, managed to find those weak spots and finally get a plant and a win down. I do know this is actually, of all 3 times that Benchwarmers have played on CCTV, 3 times Triari managed to get the plant down, which is an interesting statistic considering, as we mentioned, Clubhouse usually a little more defender-sided, and CCTV considered the best site. So, yeah. Bit strange. Benchwarmers able to get the retake once, but not able to do it a second time. Or a third, in fact.
Well, we'll have to see. Benchwarmers over to the attack now. CCTV to kick things off for Triari. And they've got that smoke mute combo. Smoke mute. It's not smoke. Smoke mute combo in play. It's going to be interesting to see whether Benchwarmers have the same success in getting around that breach denial. I mean, yes, it's a mute. The coverage is not the full wall, but they've invested in the Twitch, and that gets a bit dicey with mute jammers in play.
Yeah, it also ruins any chance of using Flores, which of course is a very powerful operator here. Could get rid of so much utility. All the castle barricades, the shields, the Melusi charges, all of that can be taken down by a well-placed Flores drone. So, yeah. Good for, I guess, Benchwarmers that they haven't relied too heavily on bringing in a Flores, but still, could potentially run into some issues. I do, however, like the double hard breach. Usually you do need to bring 2 on Clubhouse. It is just the way the map works. So, 1 for Garage and 1 for opening up that main breach.
Rev picking up the mantle of the Finker right now. Meg handling Zofia. Al, unfortunately, he's stuck in the support role. as it is, as it has been on this roster in its entirety. Looking to open those early angles into the garage wall so they can start contesting under the CCTV window. The mute jammer will make things a little bit harder though on the crouch angle into the garage.
Yeah, that's usually the point where you do enter, so of course makes a lot of sense. This angle, however, does allow you to challenge anyone from Rafters window who might be trying to rotate back from Rafters, because of course you don't usually have a rotate
Bomb
there.
located by attackers.
But for now, Rafters players relatively safe, and in fact, most of these players on defense still in good positions, haven't really been pushed out yet. Drones are coming in though, and certainly this back take looks to challenge some of these players.
Meg trying to get into Con. They want to take some ground, and this Twitch drone could be huge. The ping's there, feeding the information. Mute jammer will be dealt with, so they can start to open the breach right now. Exothermic in place and Arctic on the job means that, well, the avenues into the site will start to open up, and both players sitting on that breach vacated. Queen Alex, that was risky. They've almost completely vacated garage right now. Amber, the only one downstairs, and even then, she's pulled out as well.
Yeah, usually you do want to hold on to garage with your life because it does allow a challenge onto this Con player, but with the players dropping now, L on low health, this certainly isn't looking good for Triari in a 5v2.
Well, so far the only one having gone down the Twitch throw and getting some big information. Amber, good for a second. And that takes Ravin off the board. That's your Finkelos. I did say, but just frag the Finker out. That's all the difference maker right now. Amber in danger, ducking down with her teammate. Swoops down on the stairs. They're both in a risky spot right now, very much isolated. Amber trying to get up into rafters, wants to head towards the stairs and get up into a position to contest. And that might just be the play that sells them the round. Meg finds one, and Amber not unfortunately able to escape the long line of sight established by Arctic, who, I mean, double digits, massive stuff.
Amber does attempt to go for that flank, and I gotta say, that was a pretty brave flank. At that point in time, you've lost so much control. You really gotta do something brave, and that was pretty brave. Going for the garage flank usually means you're going to meet someone in garage, but unfortunately for Benchwarmers, there really wasn't anyone there. Could have been good for a double, almost, yeah, could have got that player on the breach, and then it would have been a 1v1 as well, but yeah, rather unfortunate. At the end of the day, it will be Benchwarmers who take out that round in a 2v1 right at the end. 5-2 up now.
Oh boy. 2 rounds now separate Benchwarmers from the victory here. Basement, the site of choice for the defense. We see the Maestro and the Wehrmite coming into play. So double utility burn plus McGuppins on the Vigil. This could be a very sneaky round if they can get the Vigil upstairs and play for a flank. Could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, good move here from Triari going onto that basement site. It is usually a little more flexible. You do get more breathing room because you can play upstairs and then kind of fall back. Whereas with that second floor, the CCTV, it can be very claustrophobic, especially when you're getting pushed from Con and Breach and Garage, as we saw in that previous round. So hopefully this Roman McGubbins, of course, on the Vigil will be able to get some work done. If not kills, at least burn the time for Benchwarmers. Benchwarmers, of course, did struggle a little bit with the time, had to go for that kind of last minute execute there. So maybe this could be something that Triari exploit in order to get a round down here.
That's the goal, the idea anyway.
Yeah.
Arctic.
Winning
Actually,
rounds,
sorry,
yeah.
no, I thought Arctic was on 10 kills. I must have read that wrong. It's Amber on 10 kills. There you go. But Arctic still, I mean, has been hitting some ripper shots, so I don't think it's going to be too far out of the question that she does hit that point. Amber aggressively up on the table in church, wants to find a long angle for the older 5.56 to put to work. Look at this, the top-down clear. Benchwarmers want to make sure that they cover their bases, and McGuppin's Vigil is going to have to be vigilant. You don't want to get caught out and lose that flank potential.
Yeah, information has been given. The sound cue has given away this Vigil's position. Still looking challenged on the top of these secret stairs. Has a fairly good angle, but again, with these players closing in, it could be a matter of time before she is shut down. But apart from that, top floor control has been ceded to bench warmers, which is a good start, but certainly they still need to make their way down onto the site and get the control there.
Now it's about gaining that security above the kitchen hatch, making sure that they have what they need to, trying to find some cheeky long angles, and the hatch is wide open. And okay, I'm not sure what's going on with Buck's skeleton key right now, because those shots were hitting the floor, Spud.
Who knows? This game never has any bugs, you know, right? I've never seen a bug in this game, ever. But hey, minute and 15 left to go, and still 5 players on both teams, which means we're sure for a very, very explosive entry at the end. It's either going to be a bit of a bloodbath for Shiari as they push or funnel onto site, or benchwarmers will get run over by a very explosive entry from Shiari. It's just a matter of who is able to build that momentum up.
I'm almost expecting a bit of a hot drop onto the site, go for the aggressive play through there. We do see Meg other end of Dirt Tunnel with the Flores feeding those drones through, trying to force players out of positions and open up opportunities. And you can see Amber tucked in deep in the church behind the bar, Ice contesting the hallway. All 5 members of the Triara roster at the moment on site, looking to hunker down. It's a deep Rotera, unfortunately not in the right position. That shield there for Swoops could be dangerous. Alex finds the first Mega 101, unfortunately now out of the remainder of the round, but Ravenna's on the job. We'll find one back. Ice to fall. Ellen, great position to make something happen here. Amp wants to swing, wants to get out into that memorial position. Arctic's tucked on the doorway. The little cheeky swing. Is it going to be enough? McGuffin's taken out, put on the ground. Luxie will finish it off with the pistol secondary. All of a sudden, Amber is going to find one with the help of Alex. It's 2 in fact, and it's a sweep. All of a sudden, it's all orange, and Triara take the round.
Yeah, right at the end, they were forced to get that diffuser down, and I think we did see it dropped as well, which means you have to go for the kill, but with so little time and so little information, really doesn't tend to favor the attackers, and that's what we saw play out there. Triari were able to pick off those attackers as they came in, certainly helped by the LMG, and Amber in a very, very good position as well. Benchwarmers now still 5 rounds up, but Triari have been at least able to claw some back.
Oh boy. All of a sudden, we've got a bit of a match in our hands, Spud. Triari now within 2, closing that gap little by little, round by round. And they head up to Cash and CCTV. Al, unfortunately, AFK, it would seem. Or at least loading still, so she's not quite there.
Oh, thank goodness for attacker repick, hey? Wouldn't it be great if there was defender repick too? Imagine that.
Well, there you go, loading in. Elle's finally here, joining the rest of us in the 22nd, in 2022.
Yeah.
She should have that option. Meg opting for the finger instead of the lion. Unfortunate settings issue there for the side of Triara, but hopefully resolved for now. Arctic showing that is picking from the ace onto the thermite, but I mean, Elle's probably going to stick that one out. She's been playing that sort of support role for the moment. In terms of denial, it should be easily cleared up though.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, Meg actually oh, sorry. I thought that was a Carly, and I was going to say, cool, both teams playing Carly. We don't usually see Carly played, but hey, sticking with the Sophia, still a great pick. And they're going to be relying on that Twitch drone or playing from underneath, failing that to get that wall open. But still, a lot you can do playing underneath. You can still also pick out that shield that we saw placed between the sites, and lots of, yeah. So how many shields in play here? 2 shields in play, so vertical play would be a big benefit here.
The Cash shield is a rather interesting one. I've not seen that position played before. Luxie, unfortunately, losing out in the Twitch drone there means that they're going to have a bit of a harder time getting this wall open for now. Just positioning it a little bit higher will do the job. They had the exothermic to play, which is interesting to me. It's worked! Okay.
Activating shock drone.
Upside down repel on the breach. Usually it's the other way around. You rappel off that balcony.
Actually, Rappel isn't playing today. She's too busy with APAC playoffs. Too cool for the kids at school.
Yeah, if you say that too much, right, people are going to start watching them instead of us, and we can't have that, right? So,
I mean, she plays in the women's league, so really they should be watching us anyway.
Exactly, right. Just a quick shout out. But anyway, back to our current game. It appears that Benchwarmers have found, well, pretty much everyone on site. 4 versus 1 now. Spoops last one left alive will be concussed as well. This is not going to go well. Shotgun in play, doesn't quite land the shot, goes for the crouch, and that's going to be it. And Meg able to walk in and get on to match point.
There you go. Benchwarmers hits the hit fire BM as well to close the round. It's the power of the big 150 round box mag. Round 10, Benchwarmers potentially going to close it out here and end the Triari comeback potential. We go to Gym Bedroom to see if it can happen.
Yeah, 6-3, certainly a lot of rounds to work with, and no breathing room on the other hand for Triari. They're going to have to win every single defensive site now if they want a chance to get back into this. Overtime, still not entirely off the cards. We have seen Triari do very well, and yeah, they've gone 3 rounds off of it, so could still work. It's a matter of whether they can get that information going. As we've mentioned, sometimes there's a bit of miscommunication there, and whether Benchwarmers will rely on a last-minute attack or whether they'll be able to get in sight with good time and be able to find those players.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah. We are going to see this time the breach that are bought alongside the castle. The mute will be in play there for ice. And I mean, it's an OG setup. It's something we've been seeing run for almost 2 years now in terms of the defensive setup of Gym Bedroom. But I mean, Luxie's sticking out the twitch, and that is potential for long range clearage of that mute jammer.
Yeah, could open up this barricade on that gym window, and then, yeah, with the infinite range laser, pretty much free real estate. That wall is going to be opened for sure. I just want to see whether Triari play the CCTV well. Of course, from Cash, you can open up that wall to Con and get a line of sight onto those windows as well. So, if they hold onto that well, they could potentially stop Benchwarmers from getting that plant down. On the other hand, Benchwarmers, when they played that site, weren't able to hold onto that cross, and that was why Triari able to walk in and plant when we saw them attack the site.
I mean, we are seeing things just a little bit different here. I mean, when you traditionally see Gym Bedroom played, you see the extension towards top red with the shield, but the shield has been placed in Cash, and Amber is going to be looking to lock things down with the P10 Roni on the Aruni as well.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Unlucky, a little too low a throw there. And it is quite difficult. She does know that there is a player on red stairs, so she doesn't want to get too aggressive lest she gets swung from that angle. So alternative, of course, is to go from this other wall. Hopefully someone will be able to flush out that player on red stairs, but for now, Amber and whoever is... Oh, never mind. It will be Ravenna. The Ash does take out one. Oh my goodness. Yep. There you go. I was just going to say, hey, someone should walk up red stairs, and there she goes.
Reverting back to all aim, no brain. Just swinging willy-nilly with the Ash. Ice of the Nitro looking for her first, and it will be good. Onto Meg at 101. Unfortunately, the sacrificial lamb, Queen Alex. Oh, that could be dangerous. The Twitch drone is going to spot it out. So they know that there is a revive coming in, and Raven, I can only imagine, is charging on. Yeah, there we go. Alex falls. Raven finds the close, and Benchwarmers will take it 7-3.
Some very decisive plays there from Ravenna, pushing the precise spot that she needs to get those picks. Takes out Amber on the red stairs, and then also that player, I believe it spoops the smoke, playing in Cash. And of course, with that side opened up, then it becomes a lot easier to collapse onto the site. In fact, I'm not even sure if they opened up Jacuzzi Wall.
Yeah, they did, because that's how Meg died.
Yes,
the
that's
Nitro
right, yes.
flew out straight after and landed on top of her and killed her when it detonated.
Yeah, maybe the play would have just been not opening that wall, hey?
They would have kept Meg alive. So
Mhm.
there is sound reasoning behind that. But Benchwarmers, they picked themselves up a win. They do it with 5 this time rather than 4. But, I mean, look, they still looked large and in charge for the entirety of the map.
Yeah, certainly the momentum was in their favor. A bit of a comeback there in the middle from Triari, having been able to read into Benchwarmers a little bit. But unfortunately for them, Benchwarmers able to get the strategies back up and running and ultimately able to take the win. 7-3, not a bad scoreline. In fact, it's pretty good. And with that other win in their pockets, that means they now go into that contention for the top 4 spots. And of course, as we mentioned earlier in our format, it will be the top 4 who go into a playoffs bracket. So that's where they're all heading. Certainly well done from Benchwarmers. Well done from Triari as well. They put up a good fight, but unfortunately not able to take it out.
Well, Spud, that does close out map 1 of the evening. We are going to be throwing it to a little break. When we come back, we jump into Radical Rebels taking on Vertex to see if we can upset things in the top 4. We'll be back soon. We'll see you then.
Watch me now. Watch me now. Watch me now. Everybody talk. I just get it done. Everybody talk. I just get it done. Watch me now. Watch me now. Watch me now. Everybody talk. I just get it done. Everybody talk. I just get it done.
Coming back from the break, Spud, and we're ready to get on into our second match of the evening, of course. Radical Rebels taking on Vertex Esports. Let's get on into the match straight away. Why waste any time, of course? These two teams, you talked about them both looking to make themselves well and truly established into the top 4. And there is potential for maybe a bit of an upset.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Vertex and Radical Rebels are placed 2nd and 4th right now. Benchwarmers, having just won their last map, will go up to 9 points, which now ties with Radical Rebels. So if Radical Rebels don't actually win this, then I believe it will come down to the round count, and we'll have to get a rain check on that. Just maybe someone back behind the desk could check how those rounds are adding up. But yeah, Radical Rebels could potentially lose their spot to Benchwarmers. So even if they don't look to win, they certainly need to get as many points as possible in this situation. For our other games tonight, though, Big Brain Esports 7-2 taking down Volpez, and Warriors once again on top 7-1 against Altered Edge. So our kind of first 3 teams pretty much well solidified in their positions. It's just a matter, of course, as we said, Radical Rebels and Benchwarmers now looking to fight for that 4th spot.
Yeah, I mean, look, the predictions fell the way of Benchwarmers in that matchup, of course, and the other 2 results kind of as you would expect. I mean, Big Brain, Vodafone Warriors, both in that top 4 as well. Volpez, unfortunately, just having a very rough season so far. Altered Edge, much the same. And then we come into our final match of the evening. Radical Rebels taking on Vertex. You'd have to argue Vertex are the favoured team to come into this matchup.
Yeah, certainly. If you just look at the records, already Vertex on top of that, they have 4 wins and 1 loss, and that 1 loss would have been to, well, Warriors, of course. Radical Rebels have a 3-2. I do believe that they lost to Big Brain Esports last week, a 7-5. So again, a very close match. And yeah, the other loss, of course, was to Warriors, 7-0. So yeah, this could actually go very, very closely. Yeah, Vertex, although are the favorites, I wouldn't say by too much. I certainly expect a 7-5 at least, based on how these teams have been playing. So yeah, Radical Rebels need to get any rounds they can if they want to stay in that playoff group.
Well, let's take a look at the teams themselves and those that make them up, of course. We'll dive onto the team rosters, and first up, as you would expect, it is going to be the Radical Rebels, Mystique, Meeps, Aussie Ash, Psycho, and Spartan. The team that, look, they have had a couple of rough runs across the stage, and the last couple of seasons. But I mean, they're a team. This is what I would dub the content team, not because they're just in it for the clips, but they're a team who, even while suffering losses, can make magic plays.
Yeah, certainly these players are all excellent players, and we've seen a lot of them play previously before, so they'll have that experience, and with the time that's been taken over the last couple of weeks as well to kind of get that mesh, I certainly expect them to be able to pull off something magical here. Could even potentially take a win off of Vertex, and now that would be something to write about. But on the side of Vertex, though, let's take a look at their players and who Radical Rebels are going to be facing up against. It's certainly no easy feat here to beat them. We have on our screens Cass, Hazel, Triceratops, Buddha, and AJ Tiger X. All of these players we have seen before. So again, experience here, and whether that experience is going to help them work out against Radical Rebels, we'll have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, this is an incredibly capable team. You look at Triceratops. Known last stage is Triceratops because that's what she would make her opponents do. Buddha, one of the queens of clutch in this competition, and then having AJ step in as a sub. Vertex just got a whole lot scarier.
Yeah, AJ Tiger X, of course, I did believe has played for Warriors as well. So certainly some big names there. It's going to be difficult for Radical Rebels to get a win out here. No doubt about that. But again, this is where the magic happens. And if Radical Rebels are able to get it, then, well, they really, really do deserve that playoff spot, having fought on a very, very difficult team. But speaking of this battle, it will be going down on none other than Villa. Blue, I believe we need to get the scissors out.
Yeah, look, I'm disowning the lot of you. Just Villa, Oregon, and Clubhouse. It's old. It's stale. Go somewhere new. Play a map that you would want to take a vacation on. Unfortunately, Coastline's no longer in the map pool. But look, I don't. I'm not going to Oregon. I'm not going to Clubhouse. I'm not going to. I might go to Villa actually if I go on holiday. But the other two, no. Clubhouse and Oregon are out. Find something fresh.
Yeah, look, Villa has been around in the map pool for a very, very long time. So teams definitely know how to play as well. It's again like Clubhouse. It's one of those staples. But yeah. It's a fairly well-balanced map, I gotta say. It works both for attack and defense, and the size of the map can have a huge factor in that as well. It's great for defenders in that they get a bit more roaming space, but also for the attackers, it means they can cut off those defenders a bit easier, and they have more breathing room. So overall, fairly well-balanced, but taking a look at the bans we saw, this actually gives us a little bit of information here because we see both these teams banning Clubhouse and Oregon, kind of the staple maps first, and choosing to leave the weirder, newer maps right at the end. And that's something I didn't expect to see.
I wouldn't say weirder. I've had the pleasure of casting Skyscraper a couple of times now. I'm really enjoying it. Same with Border and Theme Park. Having Theme Park and Border back in the comp pool is absolutely awesome. And Skyscraper is such an interesting map, given how much focus there is on the CQB element of gameplay. It's a labyrinth. There are these tight corners. There are so many niche positions that you need to worry about. And verticality on top of all of that is such a big issue. So I'd love to see more of it. But unfortunately, I mean, look, we're going back to Villa. It's the same. As it has been for the last, 2 years almost. It's about verticality. It's about covering distance. It's about locking off flanks and getting onto the site.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. I don't think they've ever changed any. I don't even know if they've changed anything on that map. It's just the same all the time. But that means, of course, these teams will be well versed in it. And of course, they're going to need that information here because this is a big game. As we mentioned earlier, it is for that top 4 spot. So they're going to want to go somewhere comfortable where they know what they're doing. Granted, yes, I agree. Skyscraper is a very interesting map. I would have loved to see some Theme Park. It was too short of a life in the Pro League map pool. And I am glad it's back. Bank also interesting, although I never seem to have any luck on Bank. I always lose Bank. I don't know why. So maybe we'll stay away from Bank. But Yeah, any parting thoughts on this matchup before we go into the game?
I mean, it's Villa. It should be as you'd expect. We are going to see, we're going to see some roaming. We're going to see a couple of spawn peak attempts. We're going to see a rush play, and we're going to see, good, clean basics when it comes to Siege. We are going to go see, it's again a good showcase of basic skills and basic setups.
Yeah, look, you really need to know how to play Villa. Oregon and Clubhouse, we've already mentioned, but Villa is one of those, also one of those staple maps that you need to be able to play well. You need to be able to master the fundamentals of Siege. You need to have good roams and good roam clear. You need to have good setups. You need to have good drone work. And if you fail to do those things, then really Villa can be a very, very punishing map as well. Especially as we mentioned, that size of the map, it can take quite a long time to get anywhere. So got to make sure you stick close to your teammates and get those refrags as well. But yeah, we're just waiting for the last confirmations. We will be heading to that map very soon. Scoreline, any predictions on that?
I reckon we're sitting sort of 7-3 territory here in the gameplay. It is a map that tends to favour the defender side, but you're also looking at Team Vertex, who are incredibly capable on any given play day, and then they've just added a new incredibly potent frag into their roster. So, I mean, I think we, again, might see that skew, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be coming down to defender side at halves at all. It's just, I think it's going to be coming down to, who stumbles the least and makes the least mistakes.
Yeah, and certainly at this point in the game, you don't want to be making any mistakes. It is, playoffs time. It is time to get into that final top four. So you don't want to be giving up anything for free. And yeah, I expect these teams to be playing a relatively safe game, nothing too fancy. We're going to see, as you mentioned earlier, the stock standard setups and all that. But who knows? Maybe someone has a new trick up their sleeve. We've certainly seen AJ Tiger X added to the roster already. So maybe someone will do something really, really crazy and win it out. Yeah. And I'm not sure there's much more to add now at this point.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, there's only so much to break down, given that this is a map that has been a staple in the competition. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just. I would imagine we are going to get some reasonably vanilla Siege. I'm not expecting runouts every single round, spawn peaks consistently. I'm not expecting armor line finger rushes, on the attack. I think it's just gonna, like I said, back to basics.
Yeah, and basics at the end of the day is what gets you through the game. You can have best setups, you can have crazy fragging ability, but if you don't know how to play good Siege, that's not going to help you. You need to know how to use the tools you've been given and wield them, well, like the hammer and scalpel, as they say. You need to know when to hit hard, when to fall back, and all of the other things in between. But yeah, basics. Speaking of basics, it'd be really cool if we could actually get into the game. Yeah, it's
maybe some
anytime now.
Minor issues on the back end, as it always is. It's a new patch as well. Siege can be a bit janky, and unfortunately, you just got to battle through and hope that it holds. So it's one of that one mate that you have whose car is held together with duct tape and a hope and a dream. Unfortunately, at times, especially after a new patch. So right now, we're just waiting on confirmation on the back end of things to see just how long we are going to be getting into it. But I mean, if you had to hazard a guess, Bud, if you had to call the bans without, prior information, what would they be for a Villa?
Again, I'm going to say Thatcher being taken off the board. I think we've just gotten used to that. But I'm going to venture out and say, well, at least hope that Finker gets banned. I'm a little sick of seeing Finker. I just think it's a little overpowered. And certainly it brings a lot of attacking potential here. So removing it might be useful, but Jackal is what we usually see. I do think Valkyrie will be taken off this time. I think she won't survive.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of priority around Flores as well. He's proven incredibly, capable, especially on, the staple 3 in ANZ on Villa, Oregon, and Clubhouse. So I'd expect some potential priority around him, but I think at this stage you'd be foolish to let the Valkyrie through, surely.
Yeah, lots of places you can hide those cameras, and as we've seen, the information that you get from it is just so worth it. There's also, places you can throw the C4s. All of the top floor sites, apart from the bricks area, are C4able. So, yeah, you don't want to be standing on that when it goes off. So, I do expect Valkyrie, as you mentioned, but maybe some interesting bands, maybe even a Flores. We've seen some power positions with shields being played. Top main is one of those places. Flores could certainly be a useful band here.
Yeah, at the moment, though, the issues are taking a little bit longer than we expected to get resolved. So we are going to start to a quick break for now. When we come back, we'll jump on into Villa. All right, Spud, we're coming into it. We're jumping into Villa, of course. We finally got everything sorted, and we're getting the match underway. Operator band phase, all ready to go.
Oh, well, that is not a good start. We already have a crash. Cool. Of course, a bugless... Yes! Sorry, I just have to celebrate. I called it. Finger ban. I'm so smart.
Well, the ideal situation is the crash at this point in the game because we should be able to get them back in the first operator pick phase. But yeah, the Finker is gone. Jackal gone. Which means that, your usual suspects are left in place, bud.
Yeah, Thatcher on the board does make things a little bit easier for the attack, and I gotta say, it's worth taking off the Finker. I've actually really enjoyed playing Thatcher, and I think people have learned to adapt anyway, so it's not all bad, guys. Valkyrie next to be removed. We talked a lot about it before, and so finally, yep. Well, 2 for 3 so far. I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, on point, and Mira. So... the attack, not the usual suspects. The defense, very much so. It's going to be an interesting match, I reckon. Finker off the board, Jackal off the board. So we should be able to pause here and get Cass back into it. But, you got Thatcher in play. You got your Nomad. You got just any number. The Flores. There's just so much available to both teams now in the attack. This could get quite scary.
Yeah, of course, is helped out by having Thatcher on board, which means Kaid is still not as powerful as before. So that's why no surprises there left in play here. But yeah, so far, this could be a very interesting map. I'm just glad that we don't have to deal with just hold mouse 1 with Finker. At least the teams are ready to show us some strategies which don't revolve around just playing with an LMG.
Spud, I hate to break it to you. With the new patch that's come out, Gridlock now has 4 track stingers. Ying has received an extra Candela. So those are 2 LMGs that will more than likely be in play on this map. Zofia still has hers.
Yeah.
Capitao has his. And Fuse, if you really want to get spicy, also
that's true.
as an LMG. So one LMG does not make for a complete lack of them. But yeah, you're right. Finker is such a big pick. See that take off the board. That's huge. I'm just intrigued to see what the teams are thinking, given that, Thatcher is going to be in play, which means the majority of your hard breach opportunities are going to be completely nullified. Cade is available, but it doesn't really matter because there are so many different ways to deal with them. It feels like we've just lined ourselves up for an incredibly easy attacking-sided Villa, which only makes for a pain train on the defense.
Yeah, we mentioned before the size of the map means that defenders can be easily cut off from each other when they're going for that support. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. Okay, so it was Radical Rebels who... Radical Rebels will be defending first, so they took off the Finker. I guess they'd rather deal with the Thatcher than the Finker. Sure, maybe you can counterplay, a wall being closed, them opening up a wall, but it's hard to counterplay, Finker just walking up to you and murdering you in cold blood, right? So, in terms of frustration, though, I would much rather deal with a Thatcher than having to deal with a Finker, I'll be honest.
Yeah, look, I'm right there with you. If I'm being perfectly honest, Thatcher is manageable. Finker is kind of overwhelming, unfortunately. But from the sounds of things, we are going to be having the game getting back underway in just a moment. So we should be transitioning over in just a second once Alex is sorted what he's sorting. So we'll be there when we're in it, Spud.
Yeah, we're finally back into it, and wow. Okay, it looks like a significant amount of repick, which is certainly very, very interesting. Yeah, it might just be a case of needing to switch operators, given that Cass did crash. But hey, they're here now, and yeah, Line, Amaru, and the Kyrie. I don't like what I'm seeing, I'll be honest.
3 of 5 running LMGs, mind you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It hurt me.
If you
What have I done?
But I mean, the what? Two of the lesser potent, I suppose would be the way to describe it. LMGs. You got the G8 and the VO3, and then you've got Cass obviously bringing the LMGE, which is probably the most potent one in the game. And already, AJ's in. She's about to get into sight, and well, it's hers. She's in gaming, and she's going to kill Mystique. Unfortunately, just too quick on the trigger. Hazel there to follow up. Aussie Ash traded out. As Cass does fall, trying to prep the stuns for the team to join her. She has the sight, Spud, in the first 30 seconds of the round. Meeps will find one, but it's just one. We find ourselves in the 3 versus 3. No Finker means that Vertex are in a rougher spot than they were previously. Psycho with a great kill there under Hazel means that we are far closer than we ever anticipated. The aggro swing, it's a loss as Buddha comes up big. AJ still in the sight. No diffuser for her, unfortunately. This air jab might just be enough to dissuade the push on to retake. They need to get that diffuser in.
Well, one thing's for sure, both these teams are certainly very decisive about what they want to do. Vertex want to get in the site, and they will get in the site no matter what. They don't care about, all that fancy stuff like droning and intel. All the basics that we talked about, out the window. What goes in the window is AJ Tiger X, walks into sight, one pick. Same for Buta as well. And finally now, Diffuser will go down. I'm actually surprised it took them that long, but with C4 still in play, this could potentially be denied. It will not to be. AJ Tiger X and Buta have sight well and truly locked down, and now with the 1v2, I think it's safe to say it is their round to win.
Attackers have located a bomb.
All the utility to cover the plant and everything. It's pretty big. Meeps, honestly, is not in the greatest of spots right now. And AJ coming into the playdate already the 3rd kill in the round. A big 3K for her.
Yeah, just very, very surprising choice of strategy. I know we spoke earlier about how these teams will be looking to play a little bit more reserved, a little bit more careful, and it's all about getting the basics of Siege right. But I think Vertex have shown they're willing to throw that all out the window. They're willing to do what it takes to win and disrupt their opponent. And what that might include is just sending it straight through the window. Having said that, though, it is a one-off thing. I don't think they're going to do it again. After a while, people tend to, be able to predict it. And judging from the picks, I don't think they're taking that risk at this point. Will be a little bit more of a traditional method.
Being defused by attackers.
Yeah, look. I'm surprised they didn't get the frost play, but AJ looks like she might just slow it down with this sledge pick. But it's not like it was they completely took the site uncontested. There was some real answer back. I mean, you look at Meeps and Psycho, who got themselves a kill alongside Aussie Ash as well. So they did decent damage. 60% of that roster fell.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show that Radical Rebels definitely knew what they were doing. At least they had the power positions held. They knew how to at least contest sight. And that was something I was going to bring up earlier as well about the whole thing about Thatcher versus Finker. With Thatcher opening walls, at least you've still got those power positions. You can still contest, right? With Finker, it's very difficult to contest that LMG and the frag grenades and all that, especially when your opponents are just being healed all the time. So with that, I think Radical Rebels might actually be onto something here. They've certainly done a good job of fighting for every inch of that territory, and I don't think Vertex are going to get any more freebies from them.
Well, that is the ideal, I think, if you're a Radical Rebels fan. But right now, you can see the positionings from Vertex already. I'm curious. I still believe it works, but if I remember correctly, the last time I saw the interaction was a good 8 to 10 months ago. But the shock drone taser, or laser now as it is, does cause the guard break animation on Clash. So that could be a potential avenue to contest this pick.
Flash now coming out here as we speak. We'll be able to get that info. Grenade goes out, does a bit of damage, but AJ Tiger X will be taken down low as well by the counter swing. So a little bit of stall tactics here, but first of all will be Spartan, and that makes 2 opening picks. In fact, Vertex getting meeps as well. I was going to say, they've managed to waste time here on this trophy stat side, but 2 quick picks, they've made good progress now.
Well, the spray through the zombie window. Let's see if it does still work. Nah, the drone's going to get deep, clear out some of that utility. Unfortunately, not quite clearing it all out. And the ping's through. They know that there is AJ ready to contest towards the landing. Nade going to be prepped, and that is utility being burnt. Aussie could be in danger, and big damage onto the shield once again. Unfortunately, they didn't opt to bring a Thunderbird this round, so that damage is permanent.
Yeah, having said that, though, I really do like the way they've stalled out this attack here. The use of the Clash with the info certainly paying dividends here. But with this relentless pressure from Vertex, all 5 players still alive and still holding all these angles, it's going to be very difficult. Psycho needs to get a pick here to even things out.
Aussie, she's holding on. But unfortunately, Buddha's just come in from behind and dropped it down, and Cass will be the one to finish it with the lifeline. Psycho in a lot of danger as they're flooding on towards the site. Mystique has to hold on. The last remaining in bar right now in gaming. Well, the plant is going to be started, and massive headshot onto Cass to take her down. That big, bad LMG that you were talking about, no longer an issue. Unfortunately, the ARX just as capable in the right hands.
Yeah, almost a flawless round there, but props to Radical Rebels for really stalling out that attack. The Clash actually worked out very, very well. It was just a bit of a shame there, and well done to Buddha for seeing the weakness there, pushing through Study and getting the Clash with her back turned. So with that, though, Vertex take 2 rounds, both on Aviator Games, and yeah, I'm not surprised that Radical Rebels now choose to go to a different site, given the results of the last 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations that's talked about to death in the competitive scene. If you're playing a site more than twice in a row, having lost it on the defense, it feels very much like you're banging your head against the brick wall. Yeah, I don't think you can find too much to change between, 3 rounds played. So, hopefully, this will be the refresher that Radical Rebels need.
Yeah, they are looking to counter some of the aggression and the early rushes from Vertex with a bit of a trap play as well. We see the Frostbats and the Capcan lines coming out, and they're going to be extending over into the Study side. So once again, they're going to be holding from the opposite side of the map and then falling back slowly. Didn't work out super well last time. They, of course, lost 2 early picks, and with that, the trophy stat side. But if they can hold on for longer, they don't even need to get a pick. At least if they stall out enough time, they could really put the pressure onto Vertex, and I think that's the name of the game here.
Well, look at that, the rush towards the master bedroom side. They've got the Osa in play as well. That's a pretty dangerous pick to have on the attack. Being able to position that shield, being able to get into aggressive angles. I mean, how many people have we seen almost play it like a pseudo-Monty?
Yeah, that is pretty much the way to go. In fact, I do it all the time, even though I think that is probably not the best idea. But yeah, the combination of intel and being able to play those aggressive angles works really well, and the option of bringing an extra gun is certainly one advantage over Monty. Nades going out now, that's good utility usage, and clear. That shield on bedroom door can be very, very powerful, but now that it's gone, it's going to be a matter of these players on red stairs to hold over from that area.
Look at the angles already from Vertex. Only just burnt through that first minute of play, and they've got everything locked down every which way. Shield dropped by Cass to clear out the ADS, and they are in with a real passion. I mean, they are on the precipice of this site spot.
Yeah, that wall is open, but no one's quite able to challenge that. AJ Tiger X finds another 4 versus 5 now, and it looks like they're going to be pushing through this Astro side instead. Spartan will have to challenge from this red side. It's going to have to get a bit more aggressive maybe and swing in, but again, the Osa Shield's so powerful, will prevent any damage.
Mystique gets aggressive though, finds the diffuser and walk in, and that's going to halt the progress for just a little while. Unfortunately, AJ is going to walk up, find her 7th and her 8th. The quad for her and a full ace potentially, depending on how involved her team gets. And unfortunately, she's going to be denied. Cass.Vertex will take the closing kill.
You know, that's almost rude, I would say, but it's competitive, right? It's all about the team. It's not about padding your individual stats. So, hey, that was the right play. Certainly ending the round there. You don't want to take those risks, but still, a bit of BM there, maybe. You know, gotta get the nice ace symbol. I believe we saw an ace in the previous game, so it would be nice to see another one here as well.
Yeah, but the difference being the first one was with Finker's LMG.
Yes.
And this one was with the L8, so a little bit different.
Well, so far these sites are just not working out for Radical Rebels. Vertex looking so sharp on the attack, managed to pick off 3 in a row with a variety of sites and also playstyles. Of course, that first one was a very interesting rush, and some great utility usage to top it all off. Getting rid of those shields, using the Osa shields to maneuver into place. All done very, very well. It's up to Radical Rebels now to answer back. We've seen a bit of aggression from their part, but maybe not enough. Maybe now is the time to up the ante, take it up a notch, and bring the fight back to Vertex.
Well, 3 rounds in a row, we head back to AVG. Psycho having some minor issues with her razor blooms, unfortunately. Not going to be able to get them out, and I mean, realistically, you probably don't want to commit a rehost to that. The gun in itself is still pretty potent. You can make it work.
Oh yeah, I've seen that bug. Yes. Classic. Yeah, here we go. Spartan getting aggressive. As we mentioned, this is what's needed, but she does see that player on rappel and does catch off AJ Tiger X. That's a great first pick. AJ, of course, done so much damage now. Able to fall away scot-free. Certainly really going to put the hurt into Vertex.
Well, big kill to kick off round number 4 as they head back to this site where it all started. AJ Tiger off the board. He's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. There's still a lot of utility available to them and a lot of tools to get over and start contesting aviator games once again. But, I mean, Vertex, you can see they've stalled. They've slowed down a little bit, knowing that they're at a deficit.
Yeah, and maybe this slower pace is what will help Radical Rebels get that win. As we saw before, they had a lot of success with Clash and slowing down that push. So, once again, this could be a repeat of that. So far, though, Spartan has not made her reappearance just yet. She's still downstairs, waiting for the right moment to go for this flank, and certainly still playing in the minds of the attackers.
Oh, that's a big jump up into the master bedroom. Spartan could upset here, but no, the air jab to cover. And Spartan is no one but Buddha. Absolutely dropped in an instant. That is a big opportunity now for Radical Rebels to get themselves around on the board, and it will be finished courtesy of the impact grenade from Meeps. This advantage should not be squandered if Radical Rebels want a round.
Yeah, now's the time indeed to play safe. They've gotten the aggressive kicks, they've gotten that man advantage, and now it's time to back off a little bit, but no chances there for Mystique. Out of ammo, nothing you can really do about that. A second for Hazel. That player advantage quickly squandered. But hey, 40 seconds left. If they can hold on to this site, they might still have a chance.
Meeps going to get yet another, but at the cost of a significant portion of health. Sarah walks up and finds Spartan finishing off this pesty Oryx. Unfortunately, she too will fall to Meeps on the lesion. Cass crouching around the corner is going to get the down, and that puts it into 1 versus 1. 23 seconds remaining. Psycho in study, but that shield in play and the inability to use the Razor Blooms means that it's going to have to come down to a gunfight for Psycho. This is concerning, unfortunately. And Castle, a little bit of a bait from the shield, gets up on the opening, and oh, that could be dangerous. She might have to swing. She does, and she wins it. Vertex take yet another.
That was the closest round yet, but still not able to close that out. Spartan did so much damage at the start, but the real Spartans, I think, there was Vertex able to come back from that deficit. 2 picks, and then finally bait out the plant. Excellent work there to put them on the 4th round.
What a start to the map. And I think this again plays into the way that the operator ban phase has come through. There is just so much available to the attacking side.
Yeah, what I'm really interested in seeing is whether this pattern repeats over once Radical Rebels switch over. Will they also be very, very dominant on the attack? Or is this mainly due to Vertex's, ability to play this game well? As we said, it's about the basics of Siege, and I think that most shines through in an attack, because that's when you have to take the initiative. You can't just wait for things to happen. You have to be the ones doing things, and without a clear plan of what you want to do, right, that's when things fall apart. So, Vertex 4-0, they've certainly shown that they're ready to carry that initiative and that momentum. Radical Rebels, though, yet to find an answer.
5 seconds left.
Unfortunate. I mean, they came so close. So very, very close on that last one. It looked like it was going to be good, but the 1v1 just not landing on the right side of the coin for the Radical Rebels. Meeps wants to get aggressive from Piano out that art studio door window. Does find the drone as well on the retreat.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yeah, back to the 2nd floor aviator game site. We mentioned that you don't want to be going there too many times. This is the 2nd time in this current rotation. They, of course, went it 2 times at the start. And at this point, it starts to become a question of whether you're giving away too much to your opponents. They figured out how you play, how you set up. But, except for things like that, Cass taken down, I don't even know where that was from. Was that friendly fire?
Come on, no, it was it was Psycho with the Uzi. I don't know. Oh, okay, so it would have been a wallbang there. Thank you, Nattery. Come on, Cass, just withstand. Can't do that anymore.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, at least the player taken down low means they'll have a little bit of an easier time. Health advantage certainly in favor of Radical Rebels, sorry. It's a matter of finishing things off at the end, and as we saw last time, they couldn't quite close it out, even though they got those first 2 picks. And now, with half the round gone, no picks in either team's favor, I'm not sure how this one is going to play out, to be honest.
Slowly, one would imagine. Cass taking control in 90. Spartan's going to be there any minute, and the Spartan, of course, because he's going to win that, given the health disparity. And just being a little bit quicker on the trigger, Psycho follows up with another onto Hazel. And that all of a sudden, that is your lifeline, and your Otero drones out of play. That's a huge amount of utility clear. They will be lacking now.
Buta looking to get this repick, but 2 players downstairs. That is certainly not expected, and with that crossfire, means Buta goes down as well. 2 players again, AJ and Sarah. Certainly very, very good plays, but will it be enough to stop all 5 players from Radical Rebels? First grenade will not land, and Spartan lands hers, meaning 1v5 might even be a flawless. It will be.
I believe that was almost a perfect round, in fact. I don't think Radical Rebels lost a single point of health to boot. So the perfect flawless round comes into play, and it's a very convincing statement for them to make to try and stall and, well, actually end the string of rounds that Vertex were able to achieve. But it's only one spot. The best they can hope for is the 4-2.
Yeah, this early aggression seems to finally pay dividends for Radical Rebels. It wasn't quite enough on that 4th round, but that 5th round we just saw, it worked out. Taken down low early on was the Sophia Cass, and then, of course, finished off by Spartan, and then, of course, Psycho found another pick, which meant, yeah, Vertex always playing from that player disadvantage, and I don't think it was particularly helped by the fact that they continued to chase those players downstairs. At that point, you do have the Nomad, and you do have the ability to stop them from coming back up the site, except for perhaps the main stairs. Maybe actually prudent to leave them be, know that there's at least one, possibly two downstairs. Maybe it's time to go for the fight on the actual site itself and go for that execute. Fortunately, it didn't quite work out that way, and Radical Rebels, fortunate for them, do take their first round.
10 seconds.
But there is one thing that is evidently apparent to me, and that is we have yet to see a first floor site. It has been nothing but Aviator Games and Trophy and Statuary so far this half. The question has to be asked, do we get it at all?
Test out.
I certainly think Vertex will be able to get there. I think they have what it takes to win those first two sites and then go to that middle floor site. Whether the defense will be as solid as the top floor sites, not so sure, right? But I certainly think they'll get there, and at least we'll see something, because so far, we've seen, what, Aviator Games 4 times, Trophy Stat 2 times. Yeah, okay, maybe now I see why you're sick of Villa.
Yes, got us a drone dead on.
Yeah. I also casted a league of NA with infinite overtime in their matches and went 23 rounds deep on this map as well. So
Yeah.
it is a map that I am intimately familiar with, and I wish that were not the case.
Oh, Cass able to catch Spartan off guard. That's not a pick you want to be losing. Spartan did so much damage last time, but not to be this time. Cass, in fact, will proceed to almost walk onto site. Thinks better of it, does back off a little bit, waits for the drones, which, well, given the situation you're in here, probably a better idea.
Aussie Ash looking for the Nitro play, but as we can see, no one even remotely close to it, unfortunately. AJ just a little bit further down the hall on the drone looking for info. Meeps as well on the alert coming up from the basement, wants to catch someone unawares, if possible. The push towards top red could be deadly, but it's a question of how much utility has been committed. Has Sarah put the air jabs in place? But it doesn't matter. Hazel is just sharp. AJ will fall, pushing onto the site, unfortunately for Psycho. Unfortunately, she can't find one of her own. Mystique with the UMP from long range across the sites. To find one, but she finds herself isolated and alone as Aussie Ash also falling. Has to contest with 3. The Gumine and Buddha's shins doing damage, but not as much damage as that AR-33 for Hazel. Buddha, actually, just stealing that one away through the opening in the statuary wall.
Well, that's a nice shot there, and enough to put Vertex up 5-1. What looks like very strong Radical Rebels last round has certainly been shut down. Certainly not helped by the fact that they lost Spartan early on, and then, yeah, things just started to fall apart from there. All the angles Vertex were holding them, and for Radical Rebels, it was a very, very difficult situation, being pressured from so many crosses. We saw right there at the end, Buddha able to get that pick through that triple wall. Yeah, there's only so much you can do. You can only look at one place at a time, and unfortunately for Mystique at that time, she was looking the wrong way.
Yeah, sometimes that is just the way that the game goes.
Attackers
It
need to
is
locate and
unfortunate,
defuse
but look, Siege is a brutal beast at the best of times, and unfortunately, it doesn't always land your way.
Yeah, what, of course, sets teams apart is their ability to fight back and claw back from those times when it doesn't go that way. We know Radical Rebels have done some pretty close rounds, some great rounds, in fact. That flawless round was very, very convincing, but will they be able to take it back now on the attack? We mentioned earlier how the bans will be playing a big factor in this for the attackers to be so strong at this point, but Radical Rebels being 1-5 down will have to have really good mental in order to take this fight back to Vertex. If they can, though, of course, get 2 rounds at least, I think the momentum will certainly be broken and the chances increase massively.
AJ looking to get aggressive about the walk-in closet is a risky play, but one that does not unfortunately pay off. We do see, however, On the side of Radical Rebels, they're trying to do something similar themselves this time. And through Zombie, unfortunately, there is someone on the window. The spray is going to be good. Cass, of course, absolutely there at the perfect time. Unfortunately, Buddha will fall as well. A massive spray from Eeps does 1.5 players worth of damage. Buddha down and Hazel tag.
That was unfortunate. Had she been a second slower, that Amaru might have actually landed on her when she was jumping in, and that would have been a kill. That would have been great to see.
Bomb has been located.
But it's not to be, and with another pick from Hazel, Meeps is no longer as well. Did manage to get that first pick, but no more. Cass with her second now, and Aussie, Ash, and Psycho left stranded outside the building with no diffuser.
Reloading ammo.
That's unfortunate. They've got great information gathering utility, but not so much to back it up, unfortunately. They are limited in what they can achieve. The final EE1D scan does come out, and I don't think it reveals a heck of a lot of useful information anyway. I'm only just noticing as well that we are seeing Aussie Ash running that 417 DMR. Playing with the 1.5 times scope, a little pop flash there. Unfortunately, the last for her as well. Clears out the bulletproof camera, but there's so many angles now to contest. It's still a minute 20 in place, but
Yeah, and Vertex now know they don't have to play as aggressively. They can kind of just chill and wait for things. But no, Sarah's still going to go for that peek. And with that, Psycho, last one alive, throws a grenade, just catches the end of AJ Tiger. But not enough to kill. 4 versus 1.
Psycho, good for 2. The clutch looking doable right now. They might just be able to make this a Radical Rebels round. Psycho has the nade. Unfortunately, it's a bad nade. Won't be able to clear out the Saria gate. She is probably going to have to either tank it up, or send her Gemini in, and that seems to be the play. Unfortunately, Cass tucked into the corner. Might have been used as a bit of a bait, but I think they've gathered that, given that it didn't go into the building, that it's not going to be in play anymore. Psycho, unfortunately, will fall to Sarah and Vertex. Absolutely in the driver's seat.
Close, but no cigar and no round win with that. 1v2 certainly is winnable. And I think Vertex realized that. You saw right at the end, they weren't going for the crazy peaks anymore. They're taking it slow, waiting for that entry. And with that crossfire being held, it's almost impossible for Psycho to get both players. In the end, though, she couldn't find even one. It will be Vertex to take that kill, and with it, the round for match point.
Yeah, 1 round away, and they're going to hit the trophy statuary to do it.
Well,
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
maybe we won't see the bottom 4 sites at all. Maybe, Vertex just win too quickly. That's a possibility. I said, after all, that they would win the top 2-4 sites, and I was technically correct. Just that we never got to the first 4 because, well, game's over. So, for the sake of perhaps viewing the kitchen and the dining area, I would like to go on a tour there. Maybe Radical Rebels do need to win around here. But it's a tough order for them to win the whole game. After all, there are 5 rounds behind. All it takes is 1 round, 1 stuff up. Vertex walk away with this.
5 seconds to go.
With that, Radical Rebels could possibly drop out of that top 4. Again, it comes down to the round count. So even if they can't win this, they need to get those rounds on the board. And hopefully in the background, Alex, if you can do up the math and tell us, that'd be great.
Well, Alex is busy just getting things done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't begin to comprehend what it takes to make a show like this all come together. The absolute power of the production team. But a 6-1 scoreline,
right?
Yeah, look, we just talk about the game. It's beyond me how Alex wields the magic to make it all look pretty. And already, Radical Rebels are doing a good job of clearing out some of this external site utility. They want to get as much information off the board, not to mention those mute jammers and potentially a Cade Claw or 2 as well. But Vertex, they are matching aggression with aggression. Yeah,
really do like the use of that Twitch to clear out those positions. And the information as well is certainly coming in here, and with it, the backup. Last time we criticized the fact that they didn't have the follow-up for the information, but here we see the drones going out. Psycho walks straight into the bathroom, going for that Astro take, but yeah, fortunately they didn't see Cass, and Cass will be able to find the first.
Sarah finding Psycho as well. So your Twitch, your Thatcher, that's a lot of your utility clear now off the board. Sarah as well, going for a cheap little punch angle. Not quite lining it up the right way. Explosions galore coming out. I believe that was AJ's Nitro Cell Spartan pushing through the bathroom. It's going to be a good kill from Meeps, though, to take down Cash, who's been a real threat for this Radical Rebels team. 9 and 5 on the board, the leader in the lobby in the kills department.
Bomb located by attackers.
Radical Rebels, they slow things down for the moment. The shots are getting dangerously close, though.
Yeah, Busa now playing the smart game and falling off that. If she had lost her life there, then it would be so much easier for Radical Rebels now that it's back to an even player count. But we'll go for that flank, and I believe we'll actually catch a player. Good crossfire there and timing as well. Aussie Ash goes down, and with it, another player. One more to go, and it looks like it's all over soon.
Pings there already. Meeps is a known quantity, and of course, Hayes, who just steps around info there, even pings out the diffuser on the way back. That is a massive statement being made here from Vertex, and that is going to solidify them solidly, top 4.
Yeah, Vertex showing that they do deserve that second place position, taking out Radical Rebels in, well, very, very great authority and very convincingly. 7-1 victory. Yeah, not much to say about that. To Radical Rebels' credit, there was a great flawless round there. That was certainly, Vertex Esports, not sure what happened there, but Radical Rebels really showed up for that round. Unfortunately, they couldn't sustain it. It seemed to be just a glitch in the matrix. Vertex Esports win a swing back and 7-1 victory for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in the grand scheme of things, given the roster and given the addition of AJ to said roster, we kind of expected it to be a Vertex win. I don't think we quite expected the scoreline to be as, separated as it was. 7-1 on Villa. I mean, even I thought it was going to be going deeper. 7-3, 7-4. You predicted a 7-5. We unfortunately did not quite get close to it. But I mean, Vertex just a solid show all around.
Yeah, it was just very well played. The aggression when they needed it was on point. They had the drone work, the information gathering, and yeah, it looked like there were a lot of cases as well where Radical Rebels just not able to win some of these gunfights, which, yeah, really unfortunate. And again, not helped by the fact that, attackers had a little bit of an easier job with Thatcher. Having said that, could have been worse. As we said, Finker off the board. Radical Rebels did make that play, but fortunately didn't quite pay off for them.
I mean, yeah, look, there were good signs. There were a couple of rounds where it did come very, very close, and you thought that there was a real possibility that Radical Rebels were going to be able to pull it out of the bag. But it's one of those things. It comes up to the coin toss at the end of a round where the gunfights are so heavily contested that it's really anyone's guess which way the cards do fall at the end of it. But I mean, is it going to change things up too much? Do you reckon going into playoffs?
Look, one thing's sure is that we know Warriors will be on top. They've shown that they're, a competitive team that, is in a league of their own. But Vertex, Big Brain Esports, certainly both really, really good teams, and they've shown they can perform. I would be really, really keen to see those teams battle it out, because I think that's where we will see a lot of close games. In fact, I might even bring up the results from that one. That was Big Brain versus Vertex. That will be next week. So that will be interesting, because I think, that's going to be a good showing for us. In the terms of 4th and 5th place, I'm not sure if Radical Rebels have been bumped out quite yet.
If you want, Spud, we can find out. We'll get the standings up on the screen and see how things are playing as of, closing out today and looking forward to next week, of course. Alex told us he had them ready. He could be wrong. He could be lying to us. But no, there he is. Of course, he's not lying. There's the standings for today. Oh, the matches for today, rather. The results. 2 7-1s, a 7-2, and a 7-3. So quick matches on the whole, Spud.
Yeah, which sometimes it's a pain. It's a shame to see, because we do like it when these matches go on for a little bit longer and there's a bit of back and forth. Hopefully going into playoffs, we will see that, especially once we've got the top 4 teams and these teams have been tried and tested and they're finally ready to go into playoffs for those prizes. Of course, standings though, I want to see whether Radical Rebels and Benchwarmers have swapped positions, because that was what we were talking about today.
Well, hopefully that pops up in just a moment. Alex is building the suspense here. Wants to make sure that we all know just how big it is going into the final week of play.
I'm
Suspense?
not
No.
sure.
No, it's fine. He's sorting out the numbers. Man's got to crunch some numbers on broadcast. It's never a good time. As you know, Spud, as casters, we cannot count above 15. That's our limit. We know 15, that's it. Anything beyond that is just too big for us to handle.
Yeah, it goes 1 to 15 and then infinite. That's all I know, right? So we're really glad here that, you know, some of these numbers have remained low enough for us to count up to. Anything more than 10 also difficult, since I don't have that many fingers. But with that, we have our standings. There we go. Radical Rebels just managed to escape dropping out of that playoff contention by, well, they do actually have a 9-round difference advantage. So points 9 apiece for Benchwarmers and Radical Rebels, but with a round differential of exactly 0, so they've won and lost exactly the same number of rounds, Radical Rebels still sticking out in that top 4.
But heading into the final, we can play what we know for sure. Triare, Altered Edge, and Volpes Gaming, unfortunately, completely locked out of playoffs with no chance of getting back in. But it's that 4th, 5th position, Spud, Radical Rebels, and Benchwarmers. It's the final race to take 4th place.
Yeah, and speaking of final races, guess who is playing against each other next week? It will be Radical Rebels and Benchwarmers. So both of these teams will be fighting, you know, for their position head-to-head against each other to get to those playoffs. So it's going to be an interesting week next week. It's the last week for all of us as well. So that will conclude the group stage. And yeah, certainly very, very interesting.
I mean, look, you could not ask for a better play day to close it out, of course. That last match coming down to decide who makes it to playoffs. And of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors, of course, here at the Esports Women's League. Massive shout out to them, Zowie, Ubisoft, Computer Alliance, and ZQ Racing, all backing us all the way, making sure that these ladies get the best of each play day and bring us their A game so we get to bring it to you as well. And Spud, that does bring us to the end of week 6, but what a play day 7 it does set us up for as well. I mean, what are your thoughts? Is this sort of how you expected the leaderboard to be coming into week 6 at the beginning of the stage? Would you have expected this?
Look, I'll be honest, I had a fairly good idea that Warriors were going to be on top of the leaderboard, but after that, it was really anyone's game, and I did not expect 4th and 5th especially to be so closely contested. Benchwarmers versus Radical Rebels. Again, Radical Rebels, you know, they seem to, you know, be a bit of a mixed bag. They've certainly showed up quite a number of times, 7-2 and 7-4 against Altered Edge and Triari, but fortunately just not able to close out these last 2 weeks. On the other hand, for Benchwarmers, a couple of tough matches at the start, but with the last 2 and now 3 wins, they have certainly picked things up. It's a matter of who comes out on top for next week.
And of course, you will have to wait until next week for any more of the Esports Women's League action. For us here in week 6, we're done, we're dusted. We'll see you back next week. Have a good one.
Watch me now. Watch me now. Watch me now. Everybody talk. I just get it done. Everybody talk. I just get it done.
A championship means a lot to me, especially when I see the best feeling in life.
저는 그렇게 이제 어떻게 보면 큰 대회에 나가서 우승을 하는 게 꿈이었긴 했는데 그게 진짜 현실로 이루어지니까 그때 어떻게 보면 온몸의 전율이
Winning a tournament is the most amazing thing. My first ever LAN that I won, I swear I couldn't shake that feeling of excitement and hype.
When I win a tournament, it just feels like a lot of weight is taken off my shoulders.
ゾイの印象的な点は、競技シーンにすごく着目しているというところですかね。
Zowie is made for gamers. If given a choice, I would only use Zowie monitors at tournaments.
สิ่งที่ผมประทับใจเลยคงเป็นในเรื่องของคุณภาพครับความคงทนของมันความเฉียบคมผมเชื่อว่าใครได้ลองใช้เนี่ยจะรู้สึกถึงเหมือนกันหมด
تدعم اللاعب المحترف بشكل كبير بحيث السموث واللعب الجميل.
I can't thank Zowie enough for giving us the resources that others may not have.
조이기어가 이제 11주년이 됐는데 축하드립니다.
希望Zowie可以继续保持你们品牌的核心价值，然后也期待你们可以推出更多不同的产品。
ในความเป็นโซวี่ในแบบของผมนะครับสำหรับผมแล้วโซวี่ไม่จำเป็นต้องพูดอะไรเยอะครับคุณภาพของเขาคือคำตอบครับ
Thank you for listening to us all these years.
非常好，然后非常适合我们设计类游戏。
Terima kasih Zowie sudah menghasilkan produk-produk terbaik untuk kita para gamer.
はい、いつも愛用させていただいております。
At Zowie, we are dedicated to deliver the best gaming monitor to pro players. We are always your companion. We are honored to stand with you, the pro gamer who keeps fighting to win in esports. Elevate your skill and maximize your potential with the ultimate gaming monitor. Zowie. Strive for perfection. Focus on winning.